have a friend of mine that he punches in and out, but he also
Mhm.
tracks his hours separately to make sure that his check is right, which is really good. It's a little
Yeah.
bit of extra work, but it's in your best interest that you do that. And then what does it say? Communicate with employers. Welcome back, folks. We had a nice round number, episode 35. It's about your paycheck. And we're starting to dig into some really important topics here. Not that the past ones were important, but anywho, before we get into it, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. It's another day, another dollar, another episode. That's it.
Another
Good, man.
episode. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
bro.
sir. This one's good. It's overpayments, right? It's what do you do if you get overpaid, right? People
Mhm.
always joke around, oh, I'm gonna keep that money and blah 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 blah. And we can speculate about that. But it is a good topic. We're gonna give you some really, things to keep in mind as an employee. If you get overpaid, what to expect from your employer, what type of
Mhm.
legalities might be your protection for you in your state, right? And then, but before that, you have a very interesting article
Yeah,
teed up
man.
for us.
Yeah, I wanted to do something different, like maybe do something a little funny, a little, trendy or
Yeah,
whatever. The
I mean, it's
Before we get
definitely
into it, man, so have you been watching the Olympics or anything? Because that's going
caught.
on.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch it every time I'm on. The thing is we're so not used to watching live TV anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yep,
know what I mean?
yep.
So we go straight to the app, and then so I got to be like a little intentional about looking at TV. The good thing, like I'll try to look for whatever sports first
Yeah,
before I go, especially over the weekends playing. So that's how I caught some of it. I caught like the men's swimming
yeah.
a little bit of beach volleyball.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, what about you? You been watching it?
Yeah, I've been checking it out here or there. Me, I like the basketball, the track and field. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
smumming is cool and stuff like that. I
So
don't
you
watch
only want to
everything.
see certain events. Ah, okay,
Yeah, I only
got
want
it.
to see certain events like the rowing. I love to see the rowing, like something that like has a lot of thrill to it. Because some of the other stuff is just like okay
Wah, wah, wah.
for me. You know what I'm
No, of
saying? Like
course, of
Um,
course.
so then they have some new sports I've never seen at the Olympics. So I think they
Like
incorporated a
what?
lot of different things. So there's this one thing. I've never seen it before, but do you remember that game that we used to play where it was almost like tennis, but they had a little
Oh,
ball with a little
Batman.
badminton. Is that it?
Yeah, with the ball, it
I,
looks like it has a net on it.
yeah, I've never
Yeah,
seen
Batman
that. You know what I'm saying?
in the
At the Olympics.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember, but I do know that they continue to add new
Yep.
sports, right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's good stuff. It's always cool to see what the world is. It's an interesting
Yeah, bro.
event. It's an interesting thing.
A
So
lot of people were tripping out for the opening ceremony. Did you hear that in the news?
why?
Because of
Because
like
of Snoop Dogg?
no, not
Oh,
because of
what
Snoop
happened?
Dogg, because of all the different like they were showing like men in dresses and a lot of different things that they were
Really?
showing on the yeah, and so a lot of Christian folks were like upset about it because oh that's blasphemy and stuff. So
Well, not all
we
that.
yeah, we don't got to speak on it, but like
Yeah,
I just
no, I
wanted to
mean
know if you
it's
saw it.
interesting. Yeah, no, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch the opening ceremony. I should have been. Could always go back to it, but yeah, no, no. I'm just catching it the highlights from the news.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. All right,
Yo,
man. I'll get into it, man. I have an article from BuzzFeed.com. Angelica Martinez has some employee horror stories. So I'm going to go through a few and we'll talk through it and have some key takeaways and we'll get into our main show. So
yeah,
there's
let's do it.
10 different things. So actually there was 20, but I only
Oh
took
dang.
10. So I only
Okay,
took 10. So check this article out. It'll be in the show notes. You can see some of these horror stories. So, I'll do 1 through 5 and you finish it out.
sure.
All right. So number one was there was an influencer mistake. An influencer accidentally used non-edible tie-dye ink from a campaign kit to dye her yogurt bowl, resulting in potentially hazardous video that led to a recall of the product.
Oh wow.
So that's crazy, right? There was number two was an HR blind spot. An HR manager at a nonprofit for the legally blind had to handle a fight between a partially sighted and totally blind employee, with witnesses unable to provide details due to their blindness.
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. So wait. Did you say what this is about? Humorous workplace incidents?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
bizarre. You mentioned the name?
Bizarre.
Okay, I didn't. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't hear. Okay, so say what in the HR blind HR manager? Nah. Oh,
Yeah.
at a
So
non-for-profit for the
for
legally
legally
blind.
blind.
Oh
So
my
two people got in a
god!
fight, and so they're like, nobody could say what happened. We didn't see what happened. We
Literally.
didn't see who started it. So yeah.
No, and that's probably not true because they heard, they could hear.
But hey, we don't know who threw the first punch. So,
Ah, that's so
uh,
funny.
number three, finger gun robbery. A gas station was repeatedly robbed for a month by a perpetrator using only finger guns, which were not taken seriously but had to be reported as real robberies. Yeah, there was
Wait, was he actually stealing something?
probably yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's
Uh,
hilarious.
Number four, a fridge food fight. A new employee was yelled at on the first day for leaving food in the shared fridge, despite not having unpacked or settled in yet. So somebody just got on this person like, "Oh, why you putting your food in there?" Like just tripping out on this new person. Like, dang,
Jeez.
I just started. And then number five, food theft revenge. An employee who had their food stolen repeatedly put laxatives in their lunch, leading to a dramatic
Oh my.
confrontation with the thief who was unaware of the food's ownership.
Oh my
Yeah, I'm gonna
gosh.
wait and see who's gonna be going to the bathroom a lot, and that's how I know who
That's
took my food.
hilarious. Why would you even? And that's. I mean, look, I get
It
people do
happens,
all kind
bro.
of.
It
Yeah, I
happens in the
wouldn't. I
corporate,
wouldn't take nobody's food from the fridge. That's.
bro. People
Uh,
do it all the time.
I hardly want to eat other people's food. Period. Right, like potlucks and things like that. That's right. And it's crazy because it's like ever since anytime I'm part of the HR, oh, let's do a potluck, and I'm like, that's not.
Is everybody doing some store bought stuff? Is that what they're bringing?
Exactly, and that's not guaranteed. So it's nah, just
Hmm.
get pizza. How about
Yep,
that?
yep, yep.
Oh, okay. So the next one is a drive-through incident. An employee at a drive-through had a drink thrown at them through the window, which was dangerous due to their position amidst other beverages.
Oh,
Oh
that's something
my
about.
gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. All right,
Mhm.
number seven is Justice store incident. Men sneaked into a children's clothing store to smoke a joint, which was particularly foolish given the store's demographic and layout. What in the heck? Yeah,
Yeah.
that Justice store in the mall. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is ridiculous. Okay, I'm gonna call number
Pooper.
8, Phantom Pooper.
Yeah.
A contractor's workers found human God. A contractor's workers found human feces in unexpected places on job sites, only to discover later that the contractor himself was responsible. What is wrong with people?
Wow.
Oh gosh. All right, number 9. It's on the yuck, the yuck category. Urinal pubes. Ugh. At a call center, an employee had to address the disturbing issue of pubic hair deliberately placed on urinal's flat top, eventually resolving it by confronting the staff collectively. Ew. What is wrong with people? The last one, banana peel stunt. A coworker tried to demonstrate that slipping on a banana peel wouldn't cause harm, but ended up injuring himself, which the reporter deemed too trivial to formally document. Oh
Oh my god.
god.
That's not real. That doesn't happen in the cartoons.
Right.
And then it happens, bro. Come on. Come on, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Because
All
think about
right.
it. A banana peel is slippery. Man, that was some weird stuff, man. Look, I'm sure that each of you that's listening to this podcast, have your own stories. We would like to hear some, as long as they're
Heck
not
yeah.
too creepy or too gross.
Yeah, just keep in mind we want,
Yeah,
keep it rated PG, I guess 13 at the
PG
at the
13.
worst. PG
Yes.
13, you know.
Yeah, and look, these things happen at work. How you navigate those, say you've experienced some of this stuff. If you're in a position to report those or help out with those, I say report them, because anybody that steals anybody lunch, anybody
Yeah.
that's doing, you have a phantom pooper.
Yeah.
or whatever. You
I
think?
mean, yeah, and that sounds crazy because if he was doing it, yeah, unexpected places on job sites. Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
ridiculous. What are
bro.
you doing?
Like, nah, you that mad at the company? You don't need to work there. You don't need to be doing
For
that.
real?
All right, man. But we have a message from our sponsor. TimeTrakGO. Summer has arrived, and with it, the perfect opportunity to plan your dream vacation. Whether you're envisioning a relaxing beach getaway or an action-packed journey, TimeTrakGO is here to ensure requesting and approving your time off is hassle-free. TimeTrakGO simplifies vacation planning for employees with this intuitive mobile app. Easily check available vacation time, submit those requests, and manage everything on the go. For supervisors, approving requests is as easy as a single click upon notification.
Yes, sir. Everyone deserves a break, and TimeTrakGo streamlines the process for all. Start your stress-free vacation planning today with the free 14-day trial at timetrackgo.com. That's www.timetrakgo.com. Or you can call 888-321-9922. Happy vacationing and let's go.
Let's go. All right, man. So the topic
Yeah.
we're talking about today is potentially being overpaid and what
Yep.
you should know as the employee that has been overpaid. So,
Yes.
you want to know your rights if you have any, especially depending on your state or your company. Your company may have a policy on it. I know a lot of companies may not have them. So, like, I've never seen a company have an overpayment policy. I don't know if you have, Brian, but
No, it's one of those things that the company has to be proactive about. And what I learned in HR is that some companies don't put things into play. I had an HR leader that told me, "Look, it can be a practice without being a policy. Once we make it a policy,
mhm,
then we are held to this policy." All right.
yep,
So, not everything has to be written down. And sometimes in an employer's case, they do that to protect themselves. Look,
hmm
we're going to follow the rules of the law because there's enough law governing overpayment issues that they don't have to now then write a policy down. They could just follow a practice and the
hmm
government's policy or the Fed or the state policy behind it, right? So no,
yep,
I don't think I've ever come across a company that does it. What I have noticed, and I'm sure you've noticed this too when you do research, colleges are quick to write everything down. Like if
yep,
you research something, right? A
yeah,
college, a random university somewhere will have a policy for something, and you're like, "What? What's this?" And so they're very diligent about that. But
yeah.
no, I don't think I have. I've never written one, but we've always followed, right, the whatever the governing
hmm
law is for that state. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So look, we're gonna go through some things here, and hopefully it helps you. But also, before we start, you want to do your research, right? You want to do your research and see what rights you may have. So, number one, we have a few different topics. I think we have four different things we're going to discuss, and then some other things we're going to touch on as well. So, number one, the employer may have some rights to recoup those overpayments.
Hmm.
So, so you have to understand that as an employee, that employers generally have the right to recover any overpaid wages. That includes bonuses or anything from employees. So this is applicable in cases of accidental overpayments by payroll.
Yep.
So you have to understand that there's things out there that under federal law, which is the second point here, under the Fair Labor Standard Act or FLSA, employers can deduct overpaid amounts from an employee's future wages, even if this deduction brings the employee's pay below minimum wage for that pay period. Mm.
I don't
So
necessarily agree with that one though. I don't know
okay.
how much. Yeah. Only because if the state dictates something different, then you go by what is more beneficial for the employee. So
hmm
yeah, there's not a lot of, but yeah,
But
that's
that's just the federal law, like you
yeah,
said to
that's
your
what I was
point.
gonna
That's
say. It's
just the
just the
federal.
federal law. Yep.
Yeah, so federal law provides minimal protection for employees in this
Yep.
situation. So,
It's a
so right there off top,
It's
you know,
yes. it's a great call out for employees because you should always understand that as an employee that the federal government has a set of laws or nothing speaking to the subject, and then the
Hmm.
state will have a different set of laws. And
This is
then
perfect
as
segue because the third point here.
yes, as an
See,
employee you should always research both because it's going to be whatever's more beneficial to you as the employee. That's what's
mhm,
going to be the applicable law, right?
mhm.
And
Yep.
a
You want
perfect
to do?
example of that
Yeah.
is minimum wage. Minimum wage
Yes.
at the federal level, $7. But if you're in a
Yep.
state where it's $15, right?
Like
It's what's
Washington, state
most
of
more
Washington. Yep.
beneficial to you. So
Hmm.
yeah.
All right. You want to? That's a perfect segue. You want to just keep that momentum and do number three and four?
Yeah, sure. So some of the state laws here in Washington, employers do not need to notify employees about wage garnishments for overpayments if discovered within 90 days. Well, see, yeah, and that's not cool because then you can get a random deduction from your check. And but if you know you got overpaid and you live in the state of Washington, go ahead and be proactive and schedule it. You don't
Yep.
want to get caught on that day and you're counting on money and it don't come. In
Yep.
Indiana, employers can recoup overpaid wages without prior authorization, but must provide at least 2-week notice before
Mm,
making the deductions. Okay, so Indiana doesn't need your permission, but they do need to tell you at least 2 weeks before.
yep.
California offers strong protections. Employers must obtain written agreement. That's the case. Yet New York is the same way. From the employee to recoup overpaid wages. Even if the court approves wage deductions, the employee wages cannot fall below the minimum wage. Ding, ding, ding. Right.
Yep.
So again, be aware of what your state says because the federal government is what is it? Minimal protection. That's a good
Yep.
way to put it. And then if your payroll department is really good, they will default to getting everybody's written understanding of a deduction coming, right? And that's
Yep.
the way I do it when we build it out on a practice or policy level. I always enforce, encourage that some document is signed that the employee has acknowledged the overpayment, and then
Yep.
a repayment plan is agreed upon. Number four is employee actions.
Mhm.
What I guess what we should do as employees, review your pay stubs regularly, right? To quickly identify any errors, especially
Yep.
if you're hourly, right? Your hours fluctuate. If you're tracking, you should be tracking your time. Yes, you punch in and out, but you should also have like kind of a general feeling of okay, what kind of hours I've tracked that week. I have a friend of mine that he punches in and out, but he also
Mhm.
tracks his hours separately to make sure that his check is right, which is really good. It's a little
Yeah.
bit of extra work, but it's in your best interest that you do that. And then what does it say? Communicate with employers. If an overpayment is noticed, discuss it with HR or payroll to rectify the issue amicably. Now,
Yep.
that I've never, no, I'm not going to say that. Maybe once or twice in my 20
Mhm.
plus years and thousands of employees paid that an employee came to us and said, "Hey, I was overpaid." It,
It's very rare, right? It's
yeah,
very
it's rare.
rare because some employees do it because some employees are diligent about the first thing you talked about, which is reviewing
Hmm.
their pay stubs regularly. Hey,
Yep.
I normally get paid this, and typically for me, the people who because salary folks can be overpaid sometimes as
Oh,
well,
sure.
but
Mistakes
but
happen. Yeah.
and those are typically the people that come in and tell us like, hey, I got my normal amount that I normally get. I didn't get that this time. My amount was like $1,000 or a couple of $100 more on this last check. Can you figure out why? You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So in my experience, most of those people who have come to us have been salary folks instead of the hourly because some
You
hourly folks
discriminating
are.
against hourly folk, bro. You
No,
ain't
no, I'm
right.
not. I'm
You
just
ain't
saying in
right.
my I'm just saying in my experience, it has been salary folks because they're used to getting that certain deposit amount. And so if it's different, and they may have an app now these days, you get a notice from your app, a notification from your app. Hey, your deposit has gone in for this amount, and then you notice that, oh wow, it's like
Hmm.
way crazy high. You're not expecting a exception payment or anything like that, or any retro.
Yeah.
You might want to call it. It might be easier for that. Might be something that prompts you to reach out to your HR payroll department. That's just my experience. other people out
Yes.
there might
Yeah.
have
No,
different
you're right.
experiences.
You're well. Yeah. No. I would say I would. I think I would. How can I say qualify my statement with? I think it's only been high earners, right?
Okay. Fair. Okay.
Folks that are kind of doesn't hurt them either way, and then they
Yeah.
don't lose anything by being honest. Whereas hourly folk are, like we say, man, 80% of America lives paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
So you know, uh, they're not gonna. What'd you say? Some one of your employees that got overpaid was like, "Oh, it was God. Won't He do it?"
Yeah. Some people they took it as a blessing. Oh, I needed the money. I was
I needed the
praying because I didn't
money.
know what. No, and they were like,
And the
"All right,
I mean, but look, at
well,
the end of the day, right? And perfect segue
yes,
again, understand your state specific laws. Be aware of your state regulations regarding wage deductions and repayment procedures because some states, again, we only just mentioned a couple, that every state has its own criteria of how they deal with the overpayment, the deduction from your pay, the recouping of it all. Do they have require notice? Do they require written permission from the employee? So think about it. If you're in a state that doesn't require any of that, you could just get deducted on your next check, and it it,
hmm
it, it may hurt, right? So be careful if you get an overpayment. Understand what may happen next by looking up that overpayment law in your state. So, and
yep,
I have a few things here that we have to be mindful of because if you get overpaid, right, and let's say, look, as we
hmm
approach the end of the year right now, how most of the time when 9 times out of 10 when my department, how can I say, approaches and notifies an employee, they immediately say, "Well, I can't pay it back right now. I need a
yep."
payment plan."
Like, why couldn't
And
you pay it back? Because you just
right,
got overpaid.
you just got it. How it's already gone. But it's so
Yeah,
anywho, right? That's the funny parts of it. But it's at that point we're going to make a payment plan, right? But now as we approach the end of the year, what I always tell my team is, hey, let's make sure that it's paid back within this year
yep,
because it's two different payback amounts. If you cross the year, now you have to pay the company back the gross amount of that payment. So
yeah,
make it easy. If you got $1,000 overpaid, right?
yep,
But that the net of that is only going to be $700. So if it's in the same year, you get to pay that $700 back. But as
yep,
soon as you cross the year, you have to pay the whole $1,000 back because now the company has to add it on as a wage earning for you for the year that it happened in if you
yep,
didn't pay it back.
yep.
So
That's
I
true,
what I
bro.
right? What I urge folks and the teams to do is to make sure they pay it back within the same year that it happens. Now, if it happens at the end of the year, then we're in a jam because it's like,
Yep,
hey, y- there's no way you're gonna pay. Actually, there is time, right? So even if it's a 12/31 check, you would probably have about a week or two into the new year to pay it back to not impact you, not put it on your W-2, right?
yeah. And look at this note I just added in here about when employers can recover. That's why Brian was to what Brian you,
Oh
to what you
wow,
spoke to. There's some states have time limits on when you can recover. So in
look at that.
Tennessee, if you're in Tennessee, the employer only has 90 days or 3 months to try to recover that overpayment from you.
That's crazy.
Versus Alaska, that's it's 2 years,
Yep.
and Colorado, it's 5 years.
5 years. Wow.
So that's to your point. Like to your point, some the states. It's
Understand.
important
Yep.
to know. Yes,
Yep.
the states can kind of dictate what your payroll department or
Mhm.
company will have to do in order to do
Absolutely.
that. So, hey, I got overpaid. You got overpaid 5 years ago. 4 years ago, you live in Boulder, Colorado.
I'm
Your
taking it back.
employer has the right to take to recoup those funds from you.
Right. Now, it doesn't mean they actually will because some folks
hmm
will, be more generous. Companies will be more generous than others. But so let me finish these last things here. Think also, if you get overpaid, you might have to get a W-2C. Again, all depends on whether you cross the year in the overpayment or not.
W
Okay.
two
So you
C is correction.
A correction. Thank you, sir. Yes, a W-2C is a correction to your prior year W-2. So if you get a W-2 and then they didn't factor that, or that you fix it in the new year, they may have to reissue a W-2C, and then you got to file your taxes again. So there's so much impact in there, and then there's another part too. If you get paid. if you pay later in the year, meaning a later year rather, if the mistake happened in 24, but you didn't pay it back till 25, you could have forfeit your FICA refund. So you could be forfeiting part of your refunds. So there's a few things that you really have to be aware of, right? Because the
Mhm.
bottom line is that you need the math to be done. You need your payroll department or HR
Yep.
department to kind of show you where you should have been this year with math, and you can do
Yep.
it too with your pay stubs. You should be able to tie back to your stubs if you have it,
Yep.
and most things are digital now, so you should be able to, you know, compare your notes, because it's all going to depend on that math. You want to see what should have happened, what did happen, and what the correction looks like, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
then understanding the impact of it all. So yeah, good stuff, man. That's
That's
you
good
know
stuff, man.
is good stuff for overpayments. Yeah,
So
it,
let's close it out with our safe talk really quick.
yeah.
And should the government and our employers be more understanding with employees that are overpaid?
I
Yes.
mean, w- yes. What?
Yes. In a,
What?
in
What
a
do you?
nutshell, my answer is yes, but when I mean understanding, what I
Okay.
think of
Okay.
is
There you go. Qualify it.
is them being willing to work with the employees in repaying that or getting those funds recouped, right?
Yep.
That's what I think of because the employer has the right to recoup those funds, as we talked about, even if there's no matter what the strategy is, like
Hmm.
especially in California, if they have to get proper authorization, they still
Yep.
have to go through that process, and if you give it to them, they have the right to get those funds. In other places, they don't even need, like we read, they don't even need your authorization. This is go ahead and take it from you,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And
But
so
keep.
I
Okay.
think they do need. I think they could work with the employees a lot more, and getting that back. So that's why I'm looking from the viewpoint that I'm looking from in this case.
I think that should be more understanding of that one. I mean, I
What's up?
I don't know. Well, I don't know what understanding means. It's not their
Mhm.
money, right? If
Yeah.
I overpay you, you know, uh, already my hands are tied because you have the money.
Yep.
Right? And
Yeah.
depending on what state I'm in, I may be limited on my actions, because guess what? Just because I need your written permission doesn't mean I'm going to get it.
Yep.
If they do not get the written permission, then they cannot take it back through your check, but they can, depending on the amount, they can take you to small claims court.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, this is not something that, do you really want to go down this path with your employer? You know what I mean? Now, now, don't get me wrong. If it's life changing money, I'm saying? You pay me.
Hey,
If you
you
overpay me
pay
a
me $1
hundred
million,
thousand dollars or a million
100,000.
dollars, 100,000, 200, 300,000, guess what? You are gonna take me to court because I'm not paying this back. I'm dragging this out. You done changed my life. I
Yeah,
quit. I quit.
I'm gonna start my business, and then as we go
Exactly.
to court, I'll have the
I
money to pay you
quit.
back then. We'll
And
be
uh,
good.
and I'll pay it back, but you gonna have to. You really gonna you gonna have to go after this. You gonna have to. Shame
Yeah,
on you.
I
You know
get
what I
it.
mean? Hey, I'm sorry. It's not stealing. You just gave me a interest-free loan.
Yep, that's it, bro. All right,
No,
good
but
answer,
you do
man.
have to make all jokes aside, you have to make a decision as an employee how hard or what road you want to go down as you deal with the overpayments. And then if you get an overpayment, check the laws in your state.
Yep,
It doesn't matter that the federal government doesn't have a good, what does it say, minimum protection.
yep,
It's what's best for you as the employee, and make sure you understand the state law that governs the overpayment, and that is what your payroll department, HR department is going to default to. Yeah, and that's it. You know,
yep.
that's
All
it.
right,
Short and
man.
sweet today, man. Yeah, it was a good one. Thanks for putting this together for us. A very good topic, very good call outs. And till the next time, folks, we love
Till
you.
next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok.
Thank you for being part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.